Everybody is talking about mobility these days, and nobody is really discussing stability.
And it's usually the missing link.
This helps us understand where our head is in space.
Push the limits to see how strong, how much of that external force that your body can handle.
Welcome back to our channel, folks. Beyond Reps and Sets. My name is Adam Chang. I'm a registered physiotherapist, owner of Lift Physiotherapy, and co-host of this YouTube channel.
And my name is Clifton I'm a certified personal trainer for 5 years, emphasizing in strength training and muscle building.
Today's segment, we're going to discuss stability. Everybody is talking about mobility these days, and nobody is really discussing stability, although it's a very important aspect of health and fitness.
And it's usually the missing link that people have. They stretch, they warm up, but they're not working on stability at a joint.
Exactly. We can look at stability a few different ways. Most people actually think of stability as balance, not slipping and falling, or doing athletic endeavors and being able to control their body. This is true, but stability is actually a function of balance. So balance, we have to take into consideration a few different things.
We're taking in consideration coordination, along with balance, body awareness in space, as well as our mobility, our range of motion at a joint.
When we look at balance, we're thinking about kinesthetic awareness. And what that is understanding where that joint is in space at all times. We're also looking at the visual cues that come into our eyes. This helps us understand where our head is in space. Also, proprioception, so our receptors in our joints and in our tissues can sense where that joint is if it's slipping, and then those muscles contract to bring that joint back to its normal position.
Yes, a lot of these things people think about in isolation, right? So they're thinking about if I'm trying to improve my squat and I'm having an issue with getting and improving, putting more weight on the bar, that might be a function of increasing your range of motion, of course. But if we are pitching forward too much, for example, where we have our upper torso far over our toes, that might shift the emphasis into an area that we might not necessarily want, which is our low back, taking the emphasis away from our lower half.
And we've said this in the past. Mobility is a function of flexibility and stability. So if you don't have stability, then you won't have the mobility that you want to perform that exercise to its full capacity.
Exactly.
I think this is a very important thing to address. And when we're looking at stability, if we look at machines versus free weights, some people can actually use free weights because they have more stability and gain that same level of activation at the muscle to allow for hypertrophy, the growth of muscles. Whereas some people may need to use machines to get that external stability so that they can drive force production through the muscle to then create more of that hypertrophy.
So in that instance, would we necessarily say the conversation is it better to use a machine versus a more free weight exercise? It depends on the level that person's at, whether beginner, intermediate, advanced. At all places, at all stages of your fitness journey, having stability as a foundation will always be something beneficial. It's always going to be beneficial. If your goal as a more advanced lifter now is shifted from maybe a more general fat loss, you've already gone through your transformation, now you're looking to push the limits to see how strong, how much of that external force that your body can handle, a machine or exercise that has a lot of systemic fatigue, like a barbell back squat, might be something that you push away from in return to a machine, because you're going to be able to maximize the output of a particular muscle group. So it's not one is better than the other. It's what is the specific reason for your training, and then picking the accurate exercise or piece of equipment to meet that goal.
if you have trouble and you're stuck at a weight and your end goal is to increase, let's say, your bench press, you may have to back up a little bit and do more stability work at the shoulder to gain more mobility to then increase that PR.
I hope this video on stability gave you a lot of insight as to what you might be missing in your physical pursuits. I'm Clifton.
And I'm Adam.
And thank you for traveling beyond reps and sets.